do I still want to do this shit?
Mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying?
Because you know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
And you think it's funny?
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight. And, you know what I'm saying? So it's a contract I feel like you got to have with yourself, too, in order for you to be a, you know, great ball player or to have a long career. That's the goal, to be in the league for 20 years. I tell you, that's the goal.
It all started with what looked like a harmless joke, but it turned into straight chaos. Kevin Durant laughed about Michael Jordan ditching basketball to play baseball, and LeBron James jumped in, cracking up right beside him. What should have been a lighthearted moment suddenly lit a fire that spread like wildfire across the NBA. Nobody saw it coming, but that laugh?
Go on the court with the NBA. Where's Kevin Durant and his legacy? Is he being tarnished? Where are you at with him? You mentioned your top 7 guys. Where are you at with what's happened recently with Durant, with the Suns, and of course with Brooklyn?
Yeah, you know, Kevin's a great player. I think that his legacy is complicated. You know, I don't like any guys who join super teams. I'm biased against LeBron when it comes to comparing him to Michael, joining Dwayne and those guys. Because, you know, when we had this debate, and LeBron's amazing and spectacular, but I was like, Michael didn't join anybody. He just kept getting his ass kicked and got bigger and got stronger and finally knocked the wall down. And, you know, Kevin, who's a great player, you know, other than the fact when he joined the Warriors, he hasn't been successful anywhere else. And I don't hold that against him, but he wants to be considered in that list. He's not on that list. He's not on that list. He's a great, great player, but he's not on that list. He wants to be like, wow, he's not in a GOAT conversation, because you're not, plain and simple.
Damn.
You had great success when you joined the Warriors, but not only did you not have success, you actually flamed out in those other places. You got swept last year in the playoffs. You didn't even make the play-in this year.
It hit a nerve deep in basketball royalty. NBA legends didn't just shrug it off, they clapped back and hard. Leading the charge was none other than Charles Barkley, who decided he'd seen enough of today's stars running their mouths with no respect. He didn't sugarcoat a single thing.
Years ago, I was in the league. I thought you were about to say some shit about the 90s.
Only one of us was in the
I'm
league.
down with the 90s.
That 90s bled into the early 2000s.
On live TV, Barkley unleashed pure truth with zero filter and zero fear. He went straight for the jugular, calling out what he saw as entitlement and ego in a league that used to bleed toughness and heart. The studio went silent for a second. Even the hosts didn't know what to say. And that's when the dominoes started falling. Former players, analysts, and fans joined in, flooding timelines with hot takes and clips from the glory days. For the first time in years, someone had dared to challenge the LeBron KD media wave that usually goes unchecked. Barkley's words didn't just stir the pot, they cracked it wide open. But here's the real kicker. Barkley wasn't standing alone on that hill. What came next showed a serious shift in energy, a warning shot to this new generation of stars who've been rewriting the game's history without paying proper dues. To understand why this moment exploded like it did, you gotta look deeper at that growing tension between LeBron, KD, and the ghosts of Jordan's era. Because right now, that era isn't just being compared, it's being attacked. It all went down on their podcast Mind the Game, and what started as casual talk turned into full-blown shade. Durant dropped a slick jab about players who leave basketball to play baseball, clearly clowning Michael Jordan's decision to walk away from the game after his father's death. The timing, the tone, everything about it was cold. It wasn't just out of pocket. It was straight up disrespectful. And LeBron, man, he was right there, laughing like it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. No empathy, no context, no pause, just ego-driven banter, like none of that history mattered anymore. That laugh hit different because it showed what's really been going on. This wasn't some random joke. It was calculated. It's part of a bigger pattern where today's superstars keep trying to chip away at the legends who built the foundation they're standing on. And here's the kicker. LeBron's been quietly running that campaign for years. Remember when he said, "We done with the 90s?" That line slid under the radar at first, But people who pay attention knew what he meant. That wasn't just talk. It was shade dressed up as progress. He's been twisting the story so that when people bring up the GOAT debate, the scales start tipping his way. Instead of rising on his own merit, he's been trying to drag history down, one slick comment at a time. They call the old school era primitive, like those players didn't fight through blood, sweat, and real competition. But here's the reality. Jordan never begged for a super team, never cried for backup, and never ducked the smoke. He faced every challenge head-on and came out a champion 6 times over. The numbers don't lie. But the way LeBron and KD talk, you'd think MJ was just another name in the book. He stayed, he fought, and he won. That's why what happened next hit way harder, because finally, somebody had the guts to clap back. Enter Charles Barkley, the man who's never known the meaning of holding his tongue, but this time, he came swinging for blood, and he didn't miss a single shot. In a fiery new interview, Barkley didn't just call out LeBron and KD for their slick talk. He tore into what they represent. He said today's stars disrespect the grind, skip the struggle, and chase the easy route to greatness. No patience, no loyalty, just ring chasing and headlines. Barkley's words cut deep when he looked right into the camera and said, "You want to be in the GOAT talk? You're not. You joined super teams." Boom! That line hit like a knockout punch. You could almost feel the tension through the screen. But here's the thing. Barkley wasn't trying to tear them down just for drama. He was calling out a lack of respect. He was saying what a lot of retired legends have been thinking but wouldn't dare say out loud, that real respect in this league isn't given by social media or hype. It's earned on the court through sweat, sacrifice, and staying loyal when things get ugly. And Barkley wasn't done. He shifted his focus straight onto KD's legacy and asked the question nobody in the mainstream wants to touch. What's Durant really done outside of Golden State? He got swept in Brooklyn. He missed the playoffs with the Suns. No rings without Curry. No domination without that Warriors safety net. The silence after that was loud. Barkley wasn't just talking trash. He was forcing the game's biggest names to look in the mirror and face some uncomfortable truth. Every time KD's tried to go solo, it's all fallen apart. No question. He's one of the deadliest scorers to ever touch a basketball. But leading like Jordan, that's a whole different level, and he hasn't reached it yet. So here's the million-dollar question. Why are today's stars so insecure? What's really eating at them? Why do 2 of the most accomplished players of this generation, LeBron and KD, still feel the need to throw shade at Michael Jordan, a man who retired decades ago? The truth cuts deep. LeBron's been haunted by Jordan's shadow since day one. No matter how many MVPs, finals runs, or records he breaks, those 6 perfect rings from MJ's career stare back at him like a mirror he can't escape. Every season that goes by without that 6th ring, the noise gets louder, the comparisons get harsher, and that frustration starts leaking out in little jabs and subtle digs, aimed right at the era he just can't surpass. It's pride mixed with pressure, and it shows every time he opens his mouth about changing the game. And KD? He's fighting a whole different demon. For all his greatness, he's never felt the love. His biggest victories came on a team he didn't build, surrounded by stars who already had their shine. Deep down, he knows the fans don't talk about him in the same breath as Jordan, Kobe, or even Steph. And that reality hurts. That's why he lashes out, trying to rewrite the story instead of earning a new one. But here's the twist. Not everyone's falling for the act. Charles Barkley saw this coming a mile away, and he dropped a warning louder than any headline. A wake-up call to the new school that respect can't be faked, bought, or rewritten. It has to be earned the hard way. The backlash is already brewing, and it's about to hit hard. The irony here is brutal. LeBron and KD keep taking shots at the past, trying to chip away at the legends who came before them. But what they don't see is that they're building the exact same cycle that's going to come back to chew them up one day. The same way they mock the 90s, the next wave of players will do it to them. Guaranteed. One day they'll retire and find themselves on the other side of the disrespect they helped create. The same trolls, the same so-called new era fans who never watched them play live will hop online saying, LeBron was overrated or KD only won with Curry. It's a loop they started, and once that wheel starts spinning, there's no stopping it. You can't control the internet once the culture turns. That's why Barkley's words landed so heavy, because he wasn't just standing up for Jordan, he was standing up for the game itself. He was defending basketball's integrity, the blood, sweat, and legacy that built the league before all the filters and narratives. His message was loud, raw, and crystal clear. You don't get to rewrite NBA history just because it doesn't fit your version of the story. You don't get to clown the 90s when that same era laid the foundation for everything you've got today, from the paychecks to the fan base to the fame. And the truth is, Barkley's right. Whether LeBron and KD ever admit it or not, the same era they're mocking now will eventually become their reflection in the mirror. The disrespect they dish out today is the same disrespect they'll face tomorrow. Because the cycle always comes full circle. And when it does, no slick podcast, no viral clip, and no GOAT talk spin will save them from it. They're watching every move, every post, every soundbite. This new generation of fans and players, they're paying close attention, taking notes on everything LeBron and KD do. And when it's their turn to drop documentaries, run podcasts, and chase clout with their own hot takes, guess what? LeBron will just be another name in the archives. KD will just be another scorer they never actually saw play. That's the harsh reality. The same disrespect they're dishing out is what's waiting for them next. And that's exactly what Barkley was warning about. You tear down Jordan today, and you better be ready for someone to do the same to you tomorrow. It's the law of the game. Disrespect always comes back around. But here's the real twist. That wave of backlash Barkley predicted, it's already starting to crash. Because whether LeBron wants to face it or not, his legacy, that untouchable image he's spent decades building, is starting to crack. Let's be real. LeBron's behavior lately hasn't been about basketball anymore. From launching his own podcast to dropping slick quotes about being the GOAT, everything he's doing feels less about honoring the game and more about controlling the narrative. It's like he's building a media wall around himself to protect the myth, not the legacy. He's not playing for rings anymore. He's playing for relevance. All those "I never had" helplines, the interviews, the perfectly timed tweets, they're not passion, they're PR. After 2 decades in the spotlight, the obsession to stay the guy is showing cracks. And the fans see it. Barkley sees it. Everyone sees it. The problem is, the harder LeBron tries to control his story, the faster that story starts slipping out of his hands. And that's a downfall even stats can't save. Especially in moments like this, when LeBron laughs at Jordan's pain like it's just another punchline, that's when the cracks in his legacy start to show. Every little smirk, every careless joke, chips away at everything he's built over 2 decades. You can't clown a legend and expect the basketball world to just shrug it off. That's not confidence, that's arrogance, and it's catching up fast. LeBron's always been a master at playing the media, shaping stories, and spinning narratives to his favor. But this time, the mask is slipping. When truth, emotion, and legacy start colliding, no amount of PR polish can clean it up. The laughs fade quick when the fans see through the act, and that's exactly what's happening now. The world's realizing that not every smile is genuine, and not every joke is harmless. And here's the thing, Barkley's not standing alone anymore. He's just the first one bold enough to say out loud what so many others have been whispering. In one podcast episode, LeBron and KD tried to rewrite basketball's history, mocking the same era that made the game what it is today. They turned one of the most emotional chapters in NBA history, Jordan walking away after his father's death, into a punchline like it was nothing. They thought nobody would call them out, but Barkley did. Loud, unfiltered, and fearless. Now, the backlash is real, because when you disrespect the 90s, you're not just mocking a decade, you're exposing yourself. The GOAT debate has never just been about stats, rings, or records. It's about respect. Respect for the grind, for the pain, for the legacy that built the entire culture of basketball. And in that category, let's keep it real. Michael Jordan still runs the court by a mile. If you respect the real history of this game, the grind, the greatness, and the legends who built it, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button right now, because we break down the truth every single week. No fluff, no bias, just straight facts with a little heat. We cut through all the noise and get to what's really going on behind the scenes of the NBA's wildest moments. Now it's your turn to sound off in the comments. Do you think LeBron and KD took it too far mocking MJ's legacy? Or are fans just doing what fans do, turning small moments into big drama? Be honest, because this one's got the whole basketball world buzzing. Drop your thoughts below, smash that like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next drop. We've got even more fire stories coming your way. The debate is far from over, and trust me, the next one's gonna be even crazier. See you on the next one.